Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy SonTj. How's it going, everyone? Today, we're here to do another video for 2022 with a collab with a YouTuber named Weeaboo Warrior. How's it going, buddy?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good, man. I think this should be post my birthday at this point because I already did a video disrespecting, not disrespecting, but doing the whole Piccolo versus Goku father stuff since Dragon Ball Super Superheroes coming out. So I thought it would have been a fun video doing that. So I hope you guys enjoy that when that comes out. So today, we're here to continue the Spider-Man hype, and we're going to rank the live action Spider-Man movies. Now, there's going to be a lot of hot takes, but I feel like, we can all be civil, okay? So y'all can list down below ranking the live action Spider-Man movies along with the Venom movies, because I guess that kind of counts or whatever. And this is all spoilers, by the way. If you're one of the rare people who still haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home in 2022, and I actually know some people, don't watch this video. We're going to be talking about every film throughout, okay? So this is how we're going to do this. So you're going to mostly see my screen of how we're going to rank things, but I'm not going to spoil you where I put each ranking for Weeaboo over here. So he's going to be making his tier list video, well, his tiers while I'm doing mine, and we should be doing another video talking about the costumes and a collab on his channel. So make sure to subscribe and check out his channel as well. I hit the mic. So let's get this started. How do you feel about Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Okay, so for that movie, let's see. I know a lot of people didn't like this movie, and I'm not the biggest fan of it either. I think there's too much going on in this film. They tried to fit in too much, and there's kind of a few weird plot points. But I mean, I honestly didn't hate it. Like, I didn't watch it. It's like, oh my god, that was the worst thing I ever saw. But definitely not something that like I exceedingly enjoyed either.
Yeah, I can say, like, I feel like it's overhated. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of weird because everyone now is like, I want an Amazing Spider-Man 3 because of Andrew
Yeah.
Garfield and No Way Home. Like, where were y'all when I was in the movie theater and that bitch was empty? Like, where
Yeah.
were y'all? Again, this movie, you can pick holes at it. It's so easy to pick holes at it. And Jamie Foxx, look, there's a reason why he was happy to stay in No Way Home, because what they did to my brother in that movie was a tragedy before he turned into Electro. But
Yeah.
the movie is fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
fun. Of course, I love Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. I love Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. Has one of my favorite Spider-Man outfits of all time in there in live action. So it's fun. You know what I mean? It has its problems, but it's a fun film for me. So no spoilers, but the guys on this side is going to see this. So.
Yeah, and also I would like to say about how they actually killed off Gwen Stacy. I think that was a pretty big move.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, again, and it was actually, I think it was done really well. Like, it wasn't right in the same way as the comics or anything like that, but it kind of is. You know what I mean? It's like the same thing but different, and it's the most beautiful part of the film. And I think it does and also the cinematography in that film is really great, and that's the best web swinging of any Spider-Man film, period, in my personal opinion. Okay, for Amazing Spider-Man 1, how do you feel about that film?
That one, I liked it. I thought it was good. I mean, for me, like Lizard just isn't like a super like cool villain. So I mean, but at the same time, I kind of liked his like motivation. Like he just wanted to make like humans like evolve to the next stage, and like I was like, honestly, I wouldn't mind being a super powerful regenerating lizard. The only problem is it seems it also makes you crazy. But
Yeah, like, and that's also, the two things about Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 is that the villains are just mad weak. Like,
yeah,
I would say out of all the villains, it's probably the best one, I guess, written is Lizard, but that's like and then like the best, like, cool fight scenes is with Electro. But with this film, I just hate the costume. I hate it so much, and it has like the worst swinging I've ever seen in the
yeah.
Spider. Like, it's weird. Amazing Spider-Man 2 has the best swinging. This one has the worst for me. So, yeah, like, I don't know. It's pretty cool. Like, I looked at some of the scenes, and this Peter Parker in this film, a lot of people criticize him for being a jerk or not really caring as much, but I feel like he really represents college Peter Parker in the comics, and it's kind of weird because he's also in high school. So, but he has the look and feel of college Peter Parker, but he just in high school. So, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
put him in a ranking here.
Yeah, and I like the scene where he saved the kid and he actually took his mask off to make him feel like more comfortable. That was a pretty
Yeah,
cool scene.
that's like one of his best scenes in the film. It's just kind of weird that the whole Uncle Ben and find the killer thing. I didn't realize it until my rewatch. It's just no resolution for that at all, and it's kind of weird. Okay, now for the arguable classic Spider-Man film here, Spider-Man 2.
I really like that one. I mean, everyone likes that one, but
Yeah.
I really like that one.
Bro, I went back
Uh,
home and I realized that I had nothing but Spider-Man 2 stuff all over my childhood room. I was like, man, I really loved this film growing up.
yeah, like it had some of the most classic scenes in it. It, like has the J. Jonah Jameson laughing scene. That was really funny. Um, let's see. What else did it have?
That's
Well,
one of the
Doc
most.
Ock is a villain, of course. He
Yeah,
was a really
yeah.
good villain.
He has one of, like it's one of the most like he's one of the best written villains of all time in terms of like superhero films.
Hmm.
The action sequences are fantastic. The practical effects and the CGI, like we'll talk about Spider-Man 3 next, but the CGI still stands up today, unlike Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man 1. For some reason, this one the CGI really fits.
Yeah, had
The
some great fight scenes too.
Yeah, like the fight scenes, like the train sequence still lives on to this day, either in Spider-Man PS4 or even the movies that follow up. Like it has classic fight scenes, so it's really high up there. The only problem I have is like, and that's what all the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films is that Peter Parker just doesn't really feel like Peter Parker. I feel like, because if you read the comics, you kind of know that Peter Parker is still the same guy with the mask or without it. He still cracks his jokes, and with this, it's like he just feels like Clark Kent in terms of instead of being Peter Parker to me. Like he just kind of takes everything to the face. Like I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like Peter Parker would have. I don't know. Okay, so I put my ranking there. Now for Spider-Man 3, how do you feel about Spider-Man 3?
This is another one I know people have problems with, but I actually, when I was rewatching these films recently, I actually really liked it. I mean, there was obviously quite a few cringe moments as well, but a lot of the cringy moments were kind of funny too. And I really liked the final like battle with Peter working together with Harry. I thought that was really good. The only
Right,
bad
right.
thing about the finale is like it kind of was set up really weird. Like all of a sudden, Venom and Sandman just like meet each other, and it's like, "Oh, hey, I was looking for you," and then he picks up MJ in a taxi. I don't like. How did he know she was coming to look for a taxi? Why didn't he just grab her and swing away with her? I have no idea why he took a taxi. And then they set up the whole thing with like a news report scene. That part like was weird, but once the battle actually got started, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, like this movie for me personally, even when I was a little kid, and I was kind of oblivious as a kid because again, I was like a Spider-Man 2 fanboy apparently. I didn't know how much I loved Spider-Man 2, but with Spider-Man 3, I knew from the jump something was wrong. Like, that's weird. As a little kid, I realized it's kind of like with GT. I was like, nah, this don't feel right. For some reason,
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3, like again, the fight scenes still live up to this day. The only problem is when you rewatch it now, when Peter Parker fights without his mask, he has this weird floating head CGI. If you notice in every fight scene, so some of that is kind of aged badly. But in terms of like the symbiote suit and everything like that, I think it looks cool. I think people overhype how well it's done because I can't tell how much stronger the symbiote suit makes him, other than like, you know, he's yelling louder and he's actually sounding like Peter Parker. Like it's crazy when he's fighting New Goblin, he actually talking like regular Peter Parker, but yet he's bad now. Like what the like, and then they make his hair like edgy, then the freaking walk, and just that is cringe. Also, Spider-Man 2, I forgot to mention that the whole raindrops are falling on my head. That is not a classic scene. It's cringe. It's a cringe scene. But yeah, Spider-Man 3, it was overhated for its time. The action sequences are still on par. Like, but it's just the story. And Peter Parker was acting like a jerk even before he had the suit on. Freaking kissing Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy right in front of Mary Jane. Even the kid is telling this grown ass man, don't do it. Like, it's just, yeah. So it is, you know what I mean? Like, I know people are trying to rewrite history saying Spider-Man 3 is some type of classic. Like, come on, whatever. Okay, for another debatable movie that apparently I didn't know was debatable now. Far From Home. How do you feel about Far From Home?
Yeah, I actually really like that, and recently I found out a lot of people didn't like it. I don't know which side of the fence you're on.
Bro, I love this film. And it's
Yeah,
just crazy to me that people are really saying it's trash. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, let's see. Like, okay, Mysterio. I love Mysterio. I love the Mysterio plot twist. Like, I think it was cool how like actually they take it out of New York and go somewhere else. That makes it interesting, like with the whole field trip. And yeah, I don't know. I really like this film.
Bro, it just blows my mind because people are saying like this is like the certificate. I don't know. I'm messing up my words. This is certified lover boy. This is a certified Iron Boy Jr. the movie. I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, this movie is the follow up to Endgame, and he literally just lost Iron Man. And like, of course, he's going to be using the Iron Spider suit because that's his connection to Iron Man. Like, I don't understand why this is.
Maybe I feel like they're just like really big Spider-Man fanboys and don't like they're not looking at it as a movie objectively connected to the MCU, and they're just looking at it as a Spider-Man film. Like, but it's a part of this bigger universe, so they have to deal with it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like there's so much high criticism. Again, the action sequences, I remember a lot of people complained about it compared to Homecoming. The action sequences are fire. They still complain that it's somehow he's clumsy or whatever. Just because he had a few funny moments where he hit his head doesn't mean he's not. Bro, he's fighting Mysterio. I don't know. I just thought Mysterio is a great villain, one of the best villains in live action we've seen for a Spider-Man villain. The action sequences and that scene where he's fighting those illusions is one of the best animated, until we see No Way Home, it's one of the best animated scenes I've seen in terms of CGI. And I love the new costume. And I feel like that scene where he's making his own costume in terms of the whole Tony Stark thing, I feel like this movie is telling you, like, yes, in Homecoming, he was trying his best to be his own hero, but in Far From Home, he felt the pressure of trying to live up to his idol because he just died, that he kind of lost his way a bit, but he regained his way near the end. I don't know. That's how I feel about Far From Home.
Yeah, I like that scene where like Happy was looking at him and he was like looking at like almost the new Iron Man, and they also had the callback with the Led Zeppelin song from Iron Man 1.
Yeah, but it was like he was saying that no one could be Iron Man, even Tony Stark. Like the idea of Iron Man is just to be a hero. It's not to be legit. You got to be him. Like some people lose so much track of the actual story with that, but I love Far From Home. Okay, Homecoming. How do you feel about Homecoming?
Homecoming, I also like that one, but I don't think quite as much, but I still thought it was a really solid movie. Another solid villain in the Vulture, who another plot twist with the villain being the girl he likes dead. And then I really love that scene in the car with him. Like there was so much tension, like when he figures out that he's Spider-Man and they're driving to the prom. And then he threatens him with the gun.
It was perfect. I know John Watts gets a lot of crap for it because he does have the most dynamic scenes until No Way Home. But that scene was perfectly directed where he's like, hey, listen, this is the real world. I will kill you. And in that scene where like before Spider-Man has to lift that building, which is the callback to like Spider-Man, I don't know which chapter. I think it was like, not chapter, comic. It was like Amazing Spider-Man 30 or something, whatever, where he has to lift that giant building and he's talking about what he has to do. And I know this also gets complaints because Iron Man is around and stuff, but again, I like it a little bit. Well, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but yeah, I like it a little bit less than some of the films I just talked about recently. But I still loved it. I love the comedy. I love the suit, and I love that he's like helping out the community. I love that, and it's more of like a comedy. Like this is like that. This trilogy is kind of building up to more danger, and this is the start of like it's a fun-loving, nice stuff, but there's responsibility of him having to not deal with his girlfriend or I forgot her name, like something Toombs. And yeah, I like it. I like the movie. The classic movie Spiderverse. How do you feel about that?
I loved it. It was an amazing movie, and it's like it also basically kind of like it was like the No Way Home before No Way Home, like bringing the spiders together. And like they kind of copied that after the success of it, I think. But it was a good idea.
This movie is weird to me because I remember when I first saw it, I didn't know how good it was. Like I loved it, but I had like little nitpicky stuff. I was like, man, I didn't really like the voice of Peter B. Parker, or like, man, like it's cool. But then I watched it again, then I realized all the details in the animation and how much different this Miles Morales is than the comic book Miles Morales. Like no racial, but a lot of people complain that Miles Morales is kind of like a black version of Peter Parker in terms of how much uniqueness he really has in comparison. While in this movie, it gave him more of an identity. It gave him more unique stuff in terms of like his music and spray painting and stuff like that. And then the comic books later copied this, and Insomniac later copied this for their version of Miles Morales. And like a lot of this stuff is like the rebirth of Miles Morales as the character and why people love him nowadays, because people still like Miles Morales, the idea in the comics, but this movie made people fall in love with that character. And even though I had criticism of Peter B. Parker's voice and those type of things, I love the character now. I love all the other characters in terms of their interpretations. And I think this movie also popularized Spider-Gwen as well. So this movie did a lot for Spider-Man comics and the media as a whole. So yeah, I love this film.
I just want to talk about the Kingpin's design. I love it. It's so funny how big he was.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Okay, now Spider-Man No Way Home. We got to fight all the recency bias, but how you feel about that film?
Yeah, I really liked it, though. I mean, people are calling it like the best Spider-Man movie, and I'm gonna have to say now I don't think it's the best. I really liked it. I loved how they brought in all the Spider-Man universes together. I liked how they brought in the villains. My favorite moments were when the Spider-Man met and were like had like their bro moments together. Those were really nice and also really funny. It's just like I feel like there just wasn't much of that. It's like they were only introduced into the end of the film, and there was like I felt like there could have been so much more with this. But and one of my biggest problems, which it's not the movie's fault, but when the end credit scene of Venom, Let There Be Carnage, showing Venom going into the MCU, I'm like, oh my god, yes, he's gonna be in the next Spider-Man movie. And then they kind of cuck us with him at the end in only the end credit scene. I was like, really? But that's not really this movie's fault. But and I understand. I like heard that they kind of took him out because like they didn't want to be the movie to be like have too much stuff in the end, and he really wasn't connected with any of the Peter Parkers, so it kind of makes sense to take him out. Honestly, I was just kind of disappointed because I like Venom.
Yeah, like I would say I disagree with you. I think this is probably my favorite Spider-Man movie, and my main reason being is that it fulfills an arc for the I want to say Tom Spider-Man Spectacular Spider-Man. I know that pisses a lot of Spider-Man fanboys off because apparently Spectacular Spider-Man is this untouchable art, and no one's never called Spectacular Spider-Man for the actual show, even though that was a comic book run before the show. But regardless, yeah, the Spectacular Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, and the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, aka the Raimi Spider-Man, they come in the middle of the film, if I remember correctly. Like, this movie's pretty big, but I remember they come in around the middle-ish area. I love their interactions. The fan service in this movie is incredible. I love the suits and the action sequences and the fact that they bring in all these villains. And it's like, funny enough, Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3 had problems because they was too bloated, or they had villains that lacked like some type of character development. But this film had more villains, that had a lot more stuff going on, and it worked 10 times better. And Green Goblin is arguably now one of the best MCU villains all time, right next to Thanos and Killmonger. Hell, he's even above Killmonger, right next to Thanos, in my personal opinion. And yeah, man, just this movie did a lot. Like, again, you can nitpick stuff, you can, but I think this movie does so much more good, and actually made me care. Well, I already cared about Aunt May a little bit because she's sexy or whatever, but like her arc in this film, like, even though like you could have asked for more, was done incredible. Like, I almost wanted to cry when she died. And that final fight sequence with Peter Parker and Green Goblin, it's arguably on the same level as Spider-Man 1, even though, of course, no blood or whatever. Well, there's kind of blood on Peter's side, but not that much on Green Goblin's side. But this movie just does so much right. And I think the only thing you complain about is like the plot hole with Electro. But outside of that, like, bro, this movie is really great to me.
Yeah, I also agree with the Green Goblin. He was definitely the MVP of the villains, like, and how he killed Aunt May. Like, and the whole Spider-Man versus Green Goblin thing, I just really love that. But the one other problem I did have this movie, it's just like I feel like Doctor Strange was kind of like an idiot and a jerk that caused everything. Like, he should have told Peter the ramifications of the spell before just like going off. It's like, okay, I'm gonna start the spell, and it's like, good, like, nice knowing you, and he's like, wait, what? Like, he had Peter had no idea everyone was gonna forget who he was, or that he was Spider-Man. So I feel like, and then Doctor Strange just like started accommodating him and changing the spell when he knew he shouldn't. Then after it was done, he blamed Peter for it.
Well, to be fair, all these MC movies have some type of thing that kind of happens like that. Like, there's some type of situation where like that could have been like, oh, well, this plot couldn't have happened if one character would have done this. So, and also the fight sequence between Doctor Strange and Spider-Man was incredible. Oh, yeah, like, oh my god, it rivals the same level of epic stuff with the Mysterio. That was incredible, man. I love how Spider-Man won. It wasn't because, like, Spider-Man overpowers Doctor Strange. No, he literally just outsmarted him in that moment. Like, loved it. So let's not spend forever talking about this film. I love it, though. Let's talk about Spider-Man 1, because a lot of people, they really love this film, and I'm just like, we'll see.
Yeah, it's like, for this one, when I was rewatching it, I feel like there's some aging problems, and there's a lot of cheesy moments. There's like the moment like when Spider-Man like makes Green Goblin retreat, and he's like, "We'll meet again, Spider-Man," and like a bunch of stuff like that, and like a bunch of tropes in the beginning with like the school stuff. And I mean, I still like it, and the Green Goblin is of course a great villain still, but yeah, it definitely has its flaws.
And there's one thing I forgot to talk about in these Raimi films. I hate Mary Jane.
Oh yeah,
I hate Mary Jane with a passion.
I agree. I mean, I could talk about that now for this video. I was gonna make a character tier list and talk about her in my own video, but yeah, I wanted to just say she's okay. I'm gonna say, like, I would like to call her like a Chad chaser. First, he was with Flash, who was a complete jerk, and it was obvious he was a bully, but just because he was like like the biggest, toughest guy in the school, she was with him. And then when she like dumped him and Peter was being really nice to her, she's like, "Oh, I have to tell you, I've someone, I love someone or whatever." And then Aunt May's like listening, probably thinking it's gonna be Peter. It's like, it's Spider-Man because he's the new chat around town that just saved her. And then after that, then she gets with Peter. But then after that, then she like, well, okay, not with Peter. Then she because Peter doesn't want to be with her because he doesn't want her to get hurt.
Yep.
Then she goes to another guy, the Jameson's son, because he's a rich, famous guy that she didn't actually really love and literally walked out on the day of their marriage. Just because Peter said he would be with her because she wanted to be with the real Chad Spider-Man. And then after that, she literally like cheats on Peter with Harry that one time just because she was feeling upset or whatever. And then she had the audacity to get mad when Peter kissed Gwen, even though she's been around with every guy and like Peter's only ever been with her.
Well, to be fair, the way Peter did was
okay, that wasn't. Yeah, I was kind of a dick move, but I mean,
I'll say out of all the movies, Mary Jane was the most understandable in Spider-Man 3. She was not understandable in Spider-Man 1. I guess outside, like they had like one scene where her parents was arguing. You can kind of see where she's coming from. And she's not really much of a character anyway in Spider-Man 1. But in Spider-Man 2, oh my God, she was annoying. Because I know a lot of people complain about Michelle Jones in MCU because she's black or her hair is not red and she doesn't seem she's not a supermodel or whatever. Even though Zendaya is fine, I don't care what no one says. But out of all the love interests in terms of Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy, Zendaya's MJ, and I forgot the actress who plays Mary Jane in the Sam Raimi films, but her character is just so bland. And yeah, she's got red hair. Yeah, she's white. But outside that, she's nothing compared to MJ. Hell, Gwen Stacy is more like MJ than she'll ever be. So yeah, but yeah. So Spider-Man 1, it's like the perfect origin film. It's the best film that done it in my personal opinion. Like it only flaw is that because I know a lot of people complain that Spider-Man and Homecoming, all his films, it takes him too long to become the guy, but in this film it's way too fast. Like he makes the perfect suit in like just in one montage. He becomes the guy kind of instantly. Willem Dafoe is still great as Green Goblin, classic. I think he's better in No Way Home because he actually kills people. Like in this film he kills people, but he kills no one important to Spider-Man. Like he scares Aunt May, which is like, I guess that's cool, and he throws Mary Jane off a building. That's just also cool. But like Green Goblin in the comics, he's the guy who kills people. Like he's the guy who gets stuff going. He kills Gwen Stacy. He becomes like a guy where if he comes along, he's going to do important events. While in the Sam Raimi films, he's kind of like a stepping stone, and that's not really who Green Goblin is. Like he is the most impactful villain Spider-Man's going to have because he kills people, and he doesn't really do that in this film. But I still love the villain, and the fight sequences are kind of dated a little bit. Like I still see a punch where he punches Green Goblin. You can obviously see he doesn't punch Green Goblin. He just goes flying to a building. But yeah, let's talk about Venom. Carnage. What is it? I can't read.
Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah, Let There Be Carnage. How do you feel about Venom? Let There Be Carnage.
Okay, I've only seen this movie once, so I don't have a super strong opinion on it yet. But one thing I do remember is I felt it was way too short. Like I felt like a lot of stuff was missing. Like it was a short movie too. I believe it was like not even close to.
Yeah,
2
it was
hours.
shorter than Venom. It was shorter than Venom.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I thought Carnage was cool, but there's like again like there wasn't enough time to like flesh him out. He was basically just another big bad guy to defeat. I thought his host. I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, he was a crazy serial killer guy. I mean, of course, the highlight of the movie's Eddie and Venom's relationship, and I like how they kind of had a breakup thing, and I really loved like how they get back together at the end, and like they're like saying they love each other, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, the comedy is still really good in this film.
Yeah, the comedy is good. The rest, not too great.
I think the thing that really annoys me about these Venom films is, like, again, like people probably gonna think I hate women or something because I'm criticizing these female characters. But like, I really don't like this weird relationship Venom has with his ex-girlfriend, ex-fiance. Then she's got this. I don't know. It's just very weird, and I don't really like it in these films. Like, it's the weirdest thing out of all of it. I can take all the dumb interactions because it's supposed to be funny. Like these movies, they do a really great job of like talking about the hero side of Venom, the goofy side of Venom. Like these Venom films are like, have you ever played the Spider-Man, like the old PlayStation 1 games? Like
I think I did, but I don't remember much of them.
Well,
I think I put it on GameCube or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like a classic to me, and like that Venom is a goofball, and he kind of represents this Venom, right? And I would say these Venom movies are not that great. I'm not gonna lie. I just say this Venom movie is really good because of the last fight scene, and I didn't need this movie to be longer. Like I'm sorry, like it's better because it's shorter. Carnage CGI is great. I like Cletus Cassidy in this movie. Like even though again the actor he does a great job, it just his hair is weird. Like I don't know, it's weird. And also his girlfriend is just there to just give the character kryptonite. That's all it is. And I hope that we get Cletus Cassidy again in the MCU because it's gonna really suck if he's just dead and that's it. If we don't get him again. But I think the MCU is doing that. We're gonna keep Hero Venom in his own universe, and we're gonna have Venom who has real problems against Spider-Man in the MCU. I think they're gonna reboot Eddie Brock. Then once they deal, then once the MCU Spider-Man deals with that Venom, then he's gonna meet Hero Venom in this universe. I think that's how they're gonna do it. But yeah, yeah, I'm gonna put him. I'm gonna put it right here. Okay, Venom 1. How do you feel about Venom 1?
I like that one more. I had all the comedy scenes. I think I had some funnier scenes too, like the lobster tank scene. The villain, well, the human villain was okay. I mean, the symbiote again was just another like angry bad guy. It's like, oh, we gotta be the alien people that take over the humans or whatever. But again, like, still love Venom. Eddie's a great character. I think this film was like more. Like I don't know, like it just felt like I had a better flow like than the other one. Like it was a more solid film altogether.
Man, again, I'm not trying to hate, but even like in Venom, the Carnage movie, Tom Hardy, he's a great actor, and I love what he's trying to do with Venom. But even then, like in both of these films, it's like the whole twitchy Tom Hardy, I mean, twitchy Eddie Brock stuff. It's always kind of weird to me, but I kind of like what they're trying to do with it. The villain is so trash. I'm sorry, Riot or whoever the human guy's version is. That, and also they're literally gray versus black. Can you see who's winning? Like,
yeah, that was a little messy. Yeah,
it was so messy. Then you had the human version of themselves fighting, and I'm supposed to like, what is this? What's happening? Like, and then the scene where his girlfriend is taken over by the symbiote, which is comic book accurate. That did happen in the comics, but. This movie is just like an acid trip. It's so crazy. And also the lobster scene. Like, yeah, this movie is like a complete acid trip, and I don't even know what was going on. And also, you know, with the Venom the Carnage movie, that movie lost some points because of the No Way Home ending. Because it's like, at least the after credit scene is cool. But then when No Way Home took that nigga right back to his own universe, I was like, well, the movie's going back down for me. So,
yeah.
All right. So, do you have your completed tier list?
Yeah, let's see. There's a few things I'm not 100% sure. I'll just send it like this. I guess.
Okay. I guess you can look at mine real quick while you're doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're looking at what we've seen, like how we ranked them, and okay. So yeah, Spiderverse is number 1. Spiderman II over No Way Home. That hurts my soul. Like that. I'm sorry. That raindrops are falling on my head. Shit is just. It's still a great movie, but man, I hate that scene. Okay, we feel the same about Far From Home and Homecoming. Spider-Man 3 over Spider-Man 1. Man, you wilding. You really wilding, bro. Wow. Bro, there's no villain in that movie that competes with Green Goblin.
I agree with that. I feel like just the whole, like, there was just more entertaining scenes for me in that one. Like, if Spider-Man 1, like, the whole beginning was, like, kind of slow with the school thing, and it's like, and then, I don't know, like the only cool parts are like the Green versus Green Goblin stuff. Like I can't think of anything other stuff. And then like I don't know, I just really like the Harry Peter collaboration at the end, and then the Harry death scene.
Well, all the emotional sequences between like Uncle Ben dying and like him hunting him down and stuff. That's still really great.
Yeah, that was pretty solid. Yeah.
Venom above Amazing Spider-Man 1, 2, and Venom. Man, that's tough. That's a tough take, bro.
I like the first Venom.
That's tough.
But, yeah, I wasn't sure what to do with the. I was thinking about putting the other Venom maybe in D tier, but it's like then I don't know. I would need to watch it again to really, like say that. I don't know. Like I don't have too much of an opinion on that one. I don't know. I like the Venom 1.
I guess I just like Venom 2 because Carnage is a better villain and the fight scenes are better, and I kind of like the comedy more, and I kind of feel like it has more of a plot than in Venom 1 where it's just Venom fucking around for like almost 2 hours. So, yeah, man, what do you think about mine?
Let's see. I mean, we have the same top 3, but I mean, different order, but the same S tier. A tier. We have the two MCU ones, the same order. Then you have Spider-Man 1, which I think that's a solid placement for it as well. Spider-Man 3 is B tier, which I have it there as well. C tier, we have both the Amazing Spider-Mans there, except we have the order flipped.
Yeah.
And then
I got
the biggest difference is I think Venom.
Yeah.
Like, Venom 1 especially. I think there's no, besides Venom 1, I don't think we have any other movie with a 2-tier difference.
I would say when I was younger, I used to think Far From Home was better than Spider-Man 2, but I kind of realized like I am sleeping on Spider-Man 2 a little bit, even though I don't like certain things, and I think even though I'm not hating on Tobey Spider-Man. I think he's a great Spider-Man. Just when you know other Spider-Man exist, you realize how inaccurate he is outside of just how cool his costume is and how nice he is. Like outside of that, he's not Spider-Man. He's not Peter Parker. He's literally Clark Kent with an accurate suit. Like he's not Peter Parker to me. Like he's still nice. He still has the accurate background, but I don't know. We talk about that in another collab together. So
yeah.
Yeah, man. I like your tier list. I think we talked about it pretty well. Let me know in the comment section down below if y'all want more videos with me with with Weeaboo. Man, your name kills me. If you want any more collaborations, he does great tier lists on his channel. He even helps me out, like looking at his scaling. I'm like, hey, maybe I need to rethink some scaling. So that really helps me out a little bit. Anything you want to say to the listeners, to the viewers?
Yeah, I mean, like, I do MCU content, like Marvel, other versus I like Star Wars, anime, obviously Weeaboo War, if you can't tell, I'm really big to anime, so if you like anime, you should come check my stuff out, and that's about all I have to say.
Okay, so I hope you guys enjoy. I could wish me a happy birthday because this is recorded one day before my birthday. So I hope you guys love Spider-Man No Way Home and watched all these films, because if you didn't, then I don't know, man. No Way Home, you just gotta ruin it for yourself. So anyway, SonTj, peace. Love you all.